Remote-controlled skydiver versus real professional jumper. Who can land more precisely? Who will be the king of the target jump? And who is faster on the racetrack? Battery-powered mini motorcycle or real racing machine? The miniature models go mobile in small versus big. Now, look closely. Here comes the first challenger. The racing bike SB5 RTR in a cracking orange. This mini motorbike weighs 1.5 kilograms and is a full 40 centimeters long. Under the bodywork, an engine of 1 entire horsepower. And it's taking on this black road rocket. Suzuki GSXR K2, 190 horsepower. A two-wheeled monster with an incredible top speed of 310 kilometers per hour. And he's the rider of this infernal machine, Chester. Nickname, of course, Speed Freak. So, question of honor. I can't show my face to anyone if I don't squash this thing into the tarmac. So there's only one thing to do, win.
Gewinnen. The winner gets it all, oder? Alles klar.
The fate of the mini motorcycle lies in his hands. Thomas Feilner is a professional model racer. The most important prerequisite for fast driving? Fingertip skill. So this is the remote control. It's my control center. That's what steers, accelerates and brakes the bike. For steering, I move the steering wheel here. The moment I move that, the fork swings out in the opposite direction. To operate the throttle, I use this lever here, basically like a trigger on a pistol. I use it to control acceleration. And to brake, I push the lever forward. Braking is done with a disc brake that acts mechanically on the carbon fiber brake disc. Okay, the principle's clear. But what about the performance of these two fireballs? A direct comparison. 270 kilos with rider and 190 horsepower. That's 0.7 horsepower per kilo for the real bike. On the mini bike, it's 1.5 kilos with 1 horsepower, so 0.6 horsepower per kilo. This means that the two competitors are fairly close in terms of numbers. Before the actual competition, a speed test over 150 meters. The result? Air resistance is naturally much lower on the mini motorcycle. That's why the little remote control guy has the edge over the first few meters. However, in this part of the race, the real racing machine scores for top speed, 174 kilometers per hour. The mini bike only manages 82. The reason? The real motorcycle weighs 180 times more than its mini opponent, and so brings significantly more downward force onto the road. Higher maximum speed on the big bike, faster acceleration on the little one. It's going to be an exciting competition. And this is the competition track. The start's right back there. The machines start at the same time, side by side. First they go straight ahead for 150 meters and then turn sharply 180 degrees and head back again. But there's a little chicane, the bollards here in the foreground. Before we get going, Chester checks his bike. No particles in the tire, the chain is tight, all good. On this track, my strengths are definitely, I would say, at the start for one thing, and coming out of the turn again. That means that I'll probably, or I'm assuming that I will, tear everything out on the straights and in the chicane. I've had a good look at that turn, and I'm sure the little guy will really stick to my back wheel there. Okay, now let's check the last settings. The handling, how it feels. The sensitivity of the steering is good, because it's a very sensitive business. Just accelerating, braking, yes, because I expect to have a big advantage over the real biker, especially at the turning points. I get around much tighter than he does, but everything has to come together. It's all very delicate here, but it feels good now, and we should be ready. Yes. A proper race needs a proper grid girl. That's what she's doing here. Fabienne. Come on, kid, get some clothes on. To get a good view over 150 meters, there's a lifting platform for Thomas. The stage is set for small against big, mini bike against real racing machine. 1 horsepower against 190 horsepower. So who's faster on the 300-meter racetrack? 3, 2, 1, action! The mini bike is slightly in the lead. But on the straight, the big racing machine makes up ground. Then the turn. The little bike sticks right on the heels of the big bike. Both bikes take the chicane almost at the same time. The last few meters will decide the race. Victory for the real racing machine. A narrow defeat for the mini bike. I didn't think it would be such a close affair, but everything turned out all right. So, all's well. But listen, guys, don't underestimate these little things. It's really amazing. Well then, congratulations, Speed Freak. Latest score, 1-0. The big guys are ahead. On we go with the next round of small against big. The venue for the second duel, the Haasfurt airfield in Franconia. The task, who can land more accurately on this target mat with a parachute, small or big. Watch out, here comes challenger number 2. His name, Boxy. A miniature parachutist packed with electronic controls. Scale 1 to 5, weight just 3 kilos. The 2 articulated arms fly him wherever he wants. Thomas Boxdorfer, reigning German model skydiving champion. The real skydiver, he'd better be on the top of his game because Boxy and me, we're going to show him what real skydiving is. Wow, I guess that's what you call going out on a limb, because the challenger is a genuine skydiving veteran. He has several hundred jumps to his credit. Champion skydiver Hayo Scherber. I've never jumped against a model parachutist. I've done numerous competitions, large formations, German championships and all kinds of things, but never against a dummy in a competition. First, folding theory. Now we're going to align Boxy properly. The parachute, important when folding, no tangles in the lines. Tighten, fold in twice, and now the package is tied up so that it lies neatly inside. Roll up the auxiliary chute, tighten the rubber band with the release, done. A demonstration, please. Now the chute has come out, you can see it. The auxiliary chute is flying backwards and would now pull the whole chute out with it. Next step, the freshly folded Boxy is attached to the model airplane. A rubber grommet holds the jumper. The miniature pilot looks casual, but the plane is steered by Karl-Heinz. On the left, he and Thomas have been a well-rehearsed team for years. Take off for the test jump. You can launch him now. Throttle back, out left. Boxy is dropped at an altitude of 100 meters and, accelerated by the Earth's gravity, races towards the ground 35 kilometers per hour faster every second. Air friction acts against this. The air resistance slows the model down somewhat. It now flies through the air at a constant speed of over 200 kilometers per hour. A human parachutist has a much larger surface area than a model and is thus slowed down more by the air. Maximum speed 198 kilometers per hour. In a vacuum, or on the moon where there's no air friction, both jumpers would fall at the same speed. After the free fall, Thomas opens the parachute at the push of a button. Steering is the same as for the real jumper. Every turn, every brake maneuver is controlled by the model's arms. If the left arm pulls the cord, there's a left turn. Will Boxy hit the target? Well, the test jump wasn't a great success. Now it's down to business. Competition time. The real skydiver is the first to go. Now the pulse starts raising. This is it. I'm taking up the challenge. It'll be difficult. The wind is a bit uneven, but here we go. Who can land more precisely, small or big, real or miniature parachutist? The aim is to hit this target circle as close to the center as possible. Diameter 5 meters. Now Thomas and his model are also ready to start. The competition conditions equal. The blustery wind is an additional challenge for both jumpers. Model pilot Karl-Heinz takes Boxy back to jumping height, 100 meters above the ground. Hayo has also reached his jumping height. To scale, that's 500 meters. The competition can begin. So, out and down we go. Three seconds of free fall and then pull the ripcord. With his special slow-flying parachute, Hayo is able to aim particularly precisely at the small round target circle below him. Hayo's parachute also fills with air from below and not, as usual, only from the front. Now it's getting exciting. The last few meters for Hayo. Will he hit the bullseye with his heels? Hayo lands 2 meters off the center of the target mat. A super show from the real jumper. That really puts the pressure on Thomas, Karl-Heinz and their skydiving model. Just keep it there. So the distance is good, just need a bit more altitude. Left, 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 left. Okay, down on the right. Throttle out, jumper out. Free fall. Open the chute. The German champion steers his jumper directly over the target. Yes. In very tight circles, Boxy spirals towards the earth. Everything is still going according to plan. Thomas takes advantage of the wind. The last few meters. The winner! Well done, great. Thank you. Yeah, good. I must admit, after coming down with that kind of maneuver, I'd be lying there like that as well. But you deserve the win. Thank you. If he hits the ground a bit faster, you can fix him up with glue and a few screws and he'll be ready to go again this afternoon. If I come down in a nosedive like that, as I should have done just before, then I risk serious injury, and I won't do that. Boxy didn't get hurt either. He's still alive. Look, he's still moving. Everything still works. Jubilation for the miniature jumper in the second competition. Boxy's victory today means it's a draw between model and man.